Greetings, everybody. Happy New Year from Asheville, North Carolina. This is Katie Gebely. I'm in my art studio today, and I am so excited to dive into this new project. If you missed my last video, I gave a little bit of a preview of what this is all about. I am starting a mixed media art journal, and I invited anyone who wanted to join to kind of do this along with me. My plan is to break up these videos step by step, and each video will have just another step towards creating our art journal. So my very first step was to gather any kind of collage papers or even old journal pages that I already had on hand. And so I went around my studio and collected them, and then I cut everything down to 9 inches by 10 inches. That was just enough space, I thought, for me to do some nice creative work and get some words in there and pictures without feeling too big. I also really enjoy making smaller art journals, so if you want to go smaller, that's totally fine as well. But I went with 9 by 10 in this case. And then I also pulled out several pages here that I have not done anything with. So that's what I want to walk you through today, where we are going to be just setting the foundation for our art journal. Now, this is a really fun part of any kind of artwork because you really get to play, and we're not too worried about the final product at this stage. We're not worried about the aesthetics. We're simply trying to get some color, some texture, just a little point of intrigue on these pages as our foundation. At this point, I'm not going to include any special things, words or pictures at this point. I just want to create some collage and do a little painting, and again, just create a base layer for what is to come. The first thing I usually think about when I'm doing any kind of collage piece is what I am working on. And some of these pages that I'm including in my art journal are thinner, like regular printer paper. Some are thicker, like mat board, so it's pretty sturdy. So depending on the thickness of what page I am working on, I will kind of figure out how to handle the collage part of it. So if I'm working on a thicker page, I can add a little more moisture, some more glue, some more papers, that kind of thing. But if I'm working on a thinner piece of just printer paper, I will go lighter on the paint and maybe even just do some scribbles with marker or pencil. So the weight of the paper you're working on should kind of be considered when you're adding layers. This piece of paper right here is watercolor paper, so that's fairly thick, and of course it can hold some moisture. So I'm just going at it with some colors. And if you've been following along for a while, I really enjoy just using a piece of cardboard here to drag the paint. I especially use this when I'm creating a base layer because I don't need to have so much control about where all the paint is going, and I kind of like the overlapping look. Plus it saves me some time so I don't have to wash my paintbrushes. And in terms of the pages, feel free to use anything you got. You might have some old journals that you're ready to rip up, some old magazines that you can tear apart. Just really be creative with this. So one by one, I'm just pulling my next page down. Now this is a piece of graph paper, so you can see it's pretty thin. So on this paper, I'm not going to add as much paint or anything like that. I'm just going to do some squiggling. And it's okay to leave some white space. You don't have to completely cover each page. In fact, I tend to like it more when you can see the base layers poking through a little bit. And then this is just the cover of some canvas paper that I had. This is pretty thick here. So on this page, I will choose to do a little bit of collage work. Now, when it comes to collage, there's also a couple principles to keep in mind. First is the adhesive that you choose to use. I tend to use, or what I've poured out here is some matte medium, which is great. It's fairly thin. It's really good for adhering thinner paper, like tissue paper and that kind of thing. In a little bit here, I am going to pour my PVA glue, which is just my old standard that I've used for a very long time. PVA glue is great, especially when you can apply it in a very thin layer. It'll prevent any buckling or warping of your paper when you're pasting it on to your surface. I recommend something like either of those versus just Elmer's glue. It doesn't matter too much. I know a lot of people like Mod Podge as well, and that can work as well. But a little bit of the higher brands are good to use, especially when you're going to be loading it up with a lot of layers. So I tend to just kind of lay out how I think I want my layers to go, and then one by one glue them down. And at this point, I am going to speed up the video for you, but all I'm doing is taking my sheets one by one and continuing to either add collage or some marks or some paint to them. Again, not worrying too much about what they look like. I also don't care so much if they're super consistent color-wise. I am just getting some layers down and playing. So enjoy this, and I'll meet you back here in a second. And I have completed this batch of pages. I got my colors in, and I know they don't look like too much now, but just wait. It'll all come together, I promise. And what I want to do here now is, because I want this book to be one that opens and you can see, both pages as the book is open and spread apart, I want to go back and fill in the back side of the pages in the same way. So I'm going to be painting, adding collage, and that kind of thing. And this way it'll make a more complete book. Now, again, I'm not working on a binded journal, and I'm doing that on purpose. I find that having the individual pages gives me a little more flexibility with where I'm going to put them when it's a final product. And if I ever want to make copies of this or that kind of thing, it's easier for me to pull out the individual pages than for it to be bound together in a journal. Of course, I truly support working inside of a journal, because that's one of my favorite things to do, and it's great for traveling and that kind of thing. So not trying to deter you from doing that. I know a lot of people that are into junk journaling and art journaling just like this, and they like to work inside of a journal that's already been bound, and that is great too. But for this particular project, I'm just doing individual sheets. So again, just going back here and making sure both sides have some color and collage on them. All right, so I have my pages complete, and I'll just do a quick walk through what I've done so far, and you can see it's already starting to kind of come together. I know nothing matches and everything is pretty messy at this point, but you can start to see the potential here, and I think the next couple steps here are really going to bring this together. So just a reminder that we are all artists, and no matter what level you consider yourself to be at, this is a chance to play and to find a little bit of therapy and a little break in your day to have some fun and get some paint on some pages. So have fun with it, be open, and I'm excited to meet you back here with the next couple steps in the next few videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and like this video. It just helps the algorithm do its thing. And until next time, be bold, be creative, have fun, and I will see you all soon. Cheers!